seems to be holding. It's something about handshake not connecting or something. So, okay. I think we're good. I think we're good. Sorry about that for the little false start there. But we are live. It's Thursday. As I was trying to say, it feels like Friday. I wish it was. I hope you guys had a better night's sleep than I did. So I'm kind of running on half steam this morning, which maybe accounts for why I got a bad start there. Anyway, let's see, I already did the tweet, I think. Yes, that's good. And I think we're good to go. I'm just kind of waiting to see and make sure that the connection holds because I don't want it to kind of boop off again. But it looks like it's holding, so good to go. All right. Today, of course, is a special day. We are entering the month of December. It is the 1st, I think. Let me just double check that, make sure I'm not getting ahead of myself as I often do. Nope, we're on the 1st. So December for us, for my family, is always pretty significant because we have, or kind of did have, a lot of celebratory stuff going on. When my son was younger, we had the Santa Claus thing, which is like the first week of December. I think it's on the 6th or something. And of course, his birthday is on the 4th, and then we have the Christmas holiday later in the month. So it's a real big hustle bustle for this time of year. As he's gotten older, we've kind of stopped doing the Santa Claus thing. But we still do the birthday and the Christmas deal. Now, for our family, we don't really do the whole getting out the decorations and having parties and stuff for our birthdays, much to my mother-in-law's chagrin. She likes to really do a whole hoopla about it. But for Christmas, I think that's the biggest time of the year that I really kind of go crazy. It's like my one free pass to mentally and psychologically abuse my family. I come up with all sorts of weird little games, and sometimes I make them dress up in little, not like full costumes, but I make them wear goofy hats and stuff. So for anyone that knows me in game, they're probably familiar with a lot of the stuff that I have put together in the past for the holidays. I'm a big fan of it, so it's something that kind of melds over into my virtual self as well. So while I don't belong to a guild anymore, so I'm not really, into the outlet of having a way of kind of expressing that fully beyond just building a winter plot. I still try to do some fun things during the holiday season, and last year we did the Advent calendar, and that's what we're going to be doing again this year, but just slightly different. Last year I built them ahead of time. This year we're going to be doing them on the stream live. I'm going to be doing different items every time we stream. I'm not going to say I'll be doing every day, so it might not end up being a full 25 pieces. Like last year, because of course I don't stream on the weekends, but we're going to be doing those projects intermittently with the CBDC challenge. Hey Poi, good morning, glad you could join, and hello Jam, glad you could join too. I saw your Christmas tree, the Draken version. It turned out pretty cool. I didn't get to watch the video itself, but I did see the screenshots, and looks like you had a lot of fun putting that one together. It looked kind of creepy, but fits really good. And thank you, Gamer, for the hosting, and anyone else that's hosting, Bones and a few others. I think I really appreciate it. So I'm just giving kind of a warning about how I love this particular season. I'm not a very peppy person throughout the rest of the year, so this is my one time that I kind of go a little wacko. So just be prepared that it's going to be full-on holiday stuff for the rest of this month. We're going to be doing winter tours on Wednesday. We're going to be doing the CBDC stuff. We're going to be doing the Advent stuff, and who knows what else, but it's all going to be holiday related, or winter related. So just prepare yourselves, and if it's not your thing, my apologies, move on to something else until January, because it's going to be pretty intensive. You can see I already have my character kind of decked out with some holiday garments. We do have the new tacky sweaters available on the cash shop, and I could not resist getting the Protostar one because I'm a real big fan of Protostar as well. So yeah. So the big thing today is we're going to be announcing the new theme of December for those that want to partake in the monthly challenge. For those of you that are unaware, I've been issuing these challenges pretty regularly now. We kick them off at the first of every month, and then at the end of the month we do a special showcase live stream to show off all of the projects that builders have submitted. We don't do any kind of like voting or judging. You know, everybody's is welcome, no matter what skill of builder you are. It's open to both factions, both regions. It's just a kind of a thing to kind of break you out of your norm. Just some funsy kind of activity to kind of stretch your abilities, often taking you out of your comfort zones. Like for those that maybe never mess with mechanical type builds, if we ever get into the automobile challenge, I'm sure that will be testing a bunch of us, including myself. So it's voluntary, it's not an obligatory thing, and you don't really necessarily get any reward for it other than our appreciation and you participating, and of course getting a lifelong video recording of your creation. That said, this month is a little different, kind of like last month. Last month we had a special incentive where Green Ghost was going to offer up some space on their museum plot for some of the projects that were a result of last month's CBDC challenge. Now, I've already messaged Green for those of you curious, but I have not heard back from them yet. I don't expect to, probably until maybe within a week or so. Give them time to go through all of the entries and maybe even come by and visit them in person. Then hopefully they will reach out to me and let me know which ones they're choosing, so that I can get in touch with the actual builders and work out how they're going to get the set pieces, what kind of materials they're going to need to purchase ahead of time and prep for that and all that stuff. But like last month, we've got a special incentive this month, and so I'm hoping that it will be enough to get a lot of you to participate. So without further ado, I want to first thank Carbine's community team in working with me on this. I asked them about this probably a couple months ago, and it's still kind of in the works, but they've assured me that it is a go. So I am allowed to say that we will be getting some special decor packs as some incentive for those that participate. So basically what's going to happen is anyone that participates in this month's challenge will be entered into a drawing for these exclusive, and they're called Special Edition Cozy Decorations Decor Pack. I've got, I'll be getting some codes for several of these packs. I don't know, well, I'm not going to disclose how many I'm getting. We'll just kind of leave that up in the air for now. But each pack will contain 30 plus pieces of decor. It's all Winterfest themed, so something that you can use either on your winter plot for this year, or pack it away for next year, or use it throughout the year, however you want to do it. But each decor pack is 30 plus pieces, and we're getting multiple packs. So what happens is everybody that participates, not including myself, I'm not going to be getting any of this myself, um, you will be entered into a drawing that we will be holding on the showcase day, which is December 30th. And I will just be randomly drawing names from the pile. So say we have 10 participants, then there will be 10 names in the pile, and I will be drawing names until all of the decor pack codes are given out. You don't have to be present at the live stream. So I know, because I know there's a lot of folks that do participate in our challenges but aren't necessarily able to visit the stream live. So as long as you have participated and submit a project for this month's challenge, your name will be entered, and if your name is called, then you will get the core code. I will be reaching out to everyone after the show with all of the code information and everything. The way I understand it, the codes will work for whatever region you are on. I think I'm trying to see. Congreros explained it to me. I don't have the bit, but basically it's kind of like a account bound thing where you can only claim it on one character, but it goes to your account inventory first, and then you claim it on whichever character you want. So like if you have, you play both factions on your region, then whichever character you pick, whether it's Exiles or Dominion, that's where it goes. But you can only claim it once. So it should be able to be claimed by whoever, so it's not like it's an NA code or an EU code kind of thing. Good morning, Cheeky. Glad you could join us. So I hope that's incentive. I mean, 30 pieces of decor, and these are special packs that Peregrine and Congreros helped set up. So I'm really appreciative of their effort in trying to get this arranged. I had originally asked for just some of the little packs that they given out last year, and they said they felt that wasn't enough, so they kind of padded them nicely. So yeah, this is like an exclusive kind of offer. Again, it's not necessarily going to be guaranteed that everyone will get a pack. I just have a limited number of codes that I'll be able to offer, but you will be guaranteed a chance at obtaining one of those if your name is drawn. So if there happens to be 10 people that enter a project and I only have 10 codes to give out, then yeah, obviously that's when you'd be guaranteed everybody would get one. But if there's more than the number of codes that I have available, which I'm not positive exactly how many I'll be getting, then you know, it'll just be whoever gets their name drawn. But you only can win once, so if, say, there's 10 people in the drawing and one person gets drawn, their name gets taken out of the hat, and that leaves just the 9. So your chances improve as we go through it. So hopefully that's incentive enough to get into this challenge. So you're probably wondering what the challenge is. I've thought long and hard about this, and it's kind of funny with what they come out with, or they've been sneak peeking. So you'll see what I'm talking about very shortly. Basically what it is this month's challenge is winter rides. And this is what I'm talking about. Your challenge is to design your own winter-themed mount. Something you think would look cool as a rideable type of creature, or a mechanical build. Like I said, when they were showing the sneak peeks of the hover sleigh, I thought, wow, it just kind of goes right with the idea that I had behind this, and that I want folks to kind of play around with the idea of what kind of um, winter mounts they would like to see. So basically, I have a little write-up to try and explain clearly, because I'm kind of rambling a little bit. It says, have you ever had a cool idea for a winter mount that you wanted to see in WildStar? This is your chance to show us what you can put together using currently available housing decor. There are many types of winter-related vehicles you can try to build, including things such as snow coaches, those screw-propelled snow tractors, kind of looks like a drill, snowmobiles, planes with skis, there's sleighs, sleds, etc. If you don't want to go with the more mechanical type builds, if you have an awesome idea for a saddled ice drake or a snow wolf, that's welcome too. Just be sure it's more than something like a saddle slapped onto an oversized plushie. Um, as long as it's more than that, and and that whatever you decide to build is winter themed, then you're good to go. Of course, if you find yourself stuck for ideas, remember that the interwebs, Google, my favorite friend, is a great source of inspiration. And of course, we will be playing around with some ideas and examples myself to try and help spur some ideas for you guys. So I hope this is something you guys can really get behind. Again, I strongly, strongly encourage each and every one of you to try and come up with at least one thing that you could submit. But like I said, everyone that provides a project for this challenge will be entered into the drawings for those special decor packs. So it's not necessarily going to be a voting kind of thing. It's going to be a really random kind of thing. So even if you feel like you don't have the skill to make the best kind of a winter themed mount, even if you give it a decent effort, you're just as you have an equal chance as anyone else to possibly win one of the decor packs. So I'm excited and hoping that you guys will be too, or at least get that way as you move along. Like I said, with the sneak peek of the hover sleigh that Carbine is going to be releasing soon, maybe that will spur some WildStar-ish ideas of how one might approach it. You can see for this one, I just basically took my polar bear sculpture and I added a saddle and reins onto him. Let me just move this giant box here. His harness on the face is basically just orange windows. It's orange ones, but you could probably use the pink ones if you want a green harness. I just went with brown trimming because at the time I had these leaf windows and I was using those up, and it kind of matches the color. It's slightly lighter than the leaf windows, I think, but probably if I was going to fix this up a little bit differently, I'd probably just get another window and use that for the belly strap as well, because you can see these have a little bit of a bump in them. I had to actually use like 3 windows for his belly strap. For the cables, the ropey part, those are just hanging cables. I think it's like 2 or 3 pieces on each side. Because his head is turned, the harness looks a little funny on the one side. It's got like this little hiccup here. That's partly because part of the hanging cables are actually sticking into his leg, and if I adjust it slightly too much one way or the other, it like pokes out, and you'll see where I've used like little pieces of snow material to kind of hide some of that. He's got like a tumor right here where it's like sticking out really bad, but it was the only thing I felt looked like kind of a, I don't know, the reins, I guess is what they're called. So yeah, that's what I ended up coming up with. For the saddle, I used a combination of the ritual pots, the Pell ones. It's both on the front for like the horn of the saddle, and then the seat itself is just a really big one turned to the side. And then I added another leaf window at the back for a little bit of padding, or like the little seat back or whatever. You can go beyond that, and like put like some rolled up sleeping bags. You know, add your own like mount flares like we have for our actual mounts in game. Add some kind of a helmet onto it. You could make an armored winter mount if you want. Like I said, some of the ideas I think that you guys could probably use besides polar bear is like a snow or ice type of creature, be it and think about creatures you would imagine being in a winter scene, like a wolf, um, uh, a drake, reindeer is another fun one you could probably try. Um, Penguin. I don't know if anyone could come up with an actual penguin mount, but that would be kind of weird. I don't know. You ride on his head or something, or in a backpack on his back. I don't know, or a pouch on his belly or something, like a kangaroo kind of thing. Um, but any kind of winter type animal, and it's probably going to be whitish. That's why I say it's probably snow or icicle type stuff for like an ice version of the animal, uh, an ice serpent maybe, kind of thing. There's lots of different ones you can go, as long as you make it into ice or snow or winter kind of version. Like I don't want to see like a camel mount. That would be cool, but that's not really winter related, so it needs to be winter related. For the mechanical bits, I think you can get away with a lot more leeway on that, as long as you're adding in some kind of ski bits for like the vehicles, snow plows. It doesn't have to be like a recreational vehicle. It can be an actual utility one where you would use to move snow or drill through snow or whatever. If it's I probably would allow the hover concept, but it still needs to kind of look like it would work for a winter theme, like the hover sled that they've been previewing. It has that little ski on the front, and it's got like some actual. I think it looks like a reindeer head on the hood part. The what you get, the where the dash is, the glass panel or something. Even though the back end is more hover oriented. Just think about that kind of thing. I expect we'll probably see a lot of sleds and sleighs. We've seen folks build them before. Some may already have some built. I'm not explicitly saying that you have to build something new. I would prefer it. But if it's something you've already built and you'd still like to submit it, it's welcome. There's no limit as far as how many pieces you can use or what kind of pieces. The only rules are it needs to be some kind of amount, something that you would imagine somebody could either ride on or ride in, and it needs to be winter themed. So what you guys go with beyond that is entirely up to you. I want to give you as much freedom as possible, because again, I always feel like the less restrictions we have, the more likely people are to come up with ideas and feel comfortable with putting them together and participating. So, and again, the idea is the more the merrier. So spread the word. If you know of anyone that really loves putting together animal type builds or vehicle type builds, this is probably their chance to show off their skills as far as putting together something that they would imagine could become an actual mount. It's a little on the big side for Boris here. And of course, if I go to sit on it, I'm actually kind of floating above the seat. But I know there are some that are able to sit in actual functional chairs and couches and things into their builds so that they actually can, their character can actually sit inside the vehicle or the plane or whatever it is. So I'm sure you could probably get around that depending on what you use, what pieces. So should be interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing what people will come up with. But yes, I kind of got a little cheaty on this. I already had the polar bear built, and so all I had to do was add the saddle and harness and everything. But I always like to have a good example of what I'm looking for, so that people will know what they need to focus on. So I hope that gets some of you excited about giving this a try. Again, we kind of have our regulars that usually participate, but I'm really hoping that with this extra incentive for the possible chance at some decor packs, that this will pull a lot more builders out of the woodwork. I know it's the holiday season, and that means a lot of family visiting, both going to and having people come to your place. So I understand that it's going to be touch and go for some of you, especially those that already have limited time to doodle around in game anyway. But I'm hoping that you will find at least a little bit of time, squeeze out something that you can submit and get your name into that drawing. Again, I will be posting a thread with all of the details and how to reach out to me to let me know about your project once you have it completed. So be looking for that. And of course, I'll be tweeting reminders throughout the month. And of course, if you join us on the stream from time to time through the month, we will be mentioning it there as well. So hopefully, by word of mouth, people will get the word out that some fun stuff is going on, and they'll get into it as well. Okay, so on that note, we're going to try and start a new project today that is CBDC related. I'm going to attempt to make a more elaborate kind of sleigh, I guess I don't know what's the difference between a sled and a sleigh. Is a sled like the ones that's like the kiddies push down the hill, and the sleigh is more like the ones that you would imagine like a deer or a horse or something would pull, something like that, I guess. I don't know. But I've made a few in the past, but they've been pretty simple, and it's more like the kiddie ones that you push down the hill. So I'm going to try and make a little bit more elaborate one. Again, we've seen some versions in the past from winter plots, especially Winterfest ones from last year. So we've got a lot of examples that people can go through and draw inspiration from. But I'm going to attempt, I'm going to be using hover park pieces. They're not my particular fave to use. I love how they look once you've got them in place, but I feel like they're a hassle to build with because of the way the tool thing is set up. So here's the piece, but the tool's like way down here, and depending on how you've got it turned, you have to kind of like hunt for it. See, it's up in the ceiling now, so it's not the easiest to work with, but I'm going to force myself to use it because the way I want to build it, I think that's going to be the best material at this moment. So okay, so I have a little bit of some references. Again, I always stress, if you're not confident about just coming up with something out of your own head, which is usually my trouble, finding images for reference, whether it be magazines, screenshots of somebody else's, or images that you find off Google or something, those are very helpful and at least getting you started. Once you kind of get into it, especially if you're trying to follow a particular pattern and it doesn't quite work, you end up kind of making your own. And again, it's it's helpful to have the guide, but don't feel pressured to stick to it exactly, because most of the time you won't be able to. It's just the way of housing, as far as you can't always find the exact colors you want, or the exact shapes, or the exact materials with the textures that you're looking for. So you have to make compromises here and there. So don't beat yourself up if it doesn't work out exactly like you like. But like I said, it's helpful to have those references to kind of keep you on track. Especially for someone like me that's easily distracted. I'm constantly getting off track. So what I'm doing is I'm going to be building, I think the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to build like one side, and then just completely get it all like I want, and then just replicate it for the other side, and then I'll join it up with the back part of it and the bottom, if I'm explaining myself right. So like this will be one side, and then I'll have it repeated here, and then the bucket of the sleigh will be right about in here. I don't know if that's explaining right, but you'll see what I'm talking about, hopefully, as we progress. But I started with some curved full pipe large pieces, and these are all going to be hover part pieces for the moment. I put in 3 of the curved ones and then 1 straight. I have them linked together just for the purpose of moving them out of the way. They were a little close to Boris over there earlier, so I moved them. You'll notice that it's a pretty nice size right now, but as I make it, it's probably going to be even bigger than I really need. So I may shrink it down even more, but be aware, if you didn't notice, while I was standing over here, you can't even tell that there's anything over here. At a small size, those hover part pieces disappear pretty quickly. So there's going to be a lot of stuff that I'll probably put together, and it'll be like so many other things we've had in the past, where from a distance it looks like a pile of junk, but it's only as you get closer that you start to see the details come together. So it's not going to be one of those things that'll be a good, you know, have the sleigh in front of your house and take a nice screenshot that way. You're going to always have to be kind of close to the sleigh. So that's the price of the choice of materials I've decided to use. So keep that in mind when you're picking something out for your own, if you decide to make a sleigh as well. Okay, just double checking, making sure everything is working, since it did kind of die on me earlier. Okay, so let's just see if we can start putting some more of this together. Now, I'm all the time saying I'm more of a freehand builder, but when it comes to something like this, I try my best to get it pretty close. I want my edges to line up. Like, for instance, this one here, I had a difficult time getting it to line up with the edge of the curved one. It was just slightly too low, but the amount to where I was supposed to move it, you know, it'd like be 0.85 or 0.86. If it was 0.85, it was too high. If it was 0.86, it was too low. And I had to do some really micro adjustments to get that lined up straight. So be aware that things may not line up exactly, but do your best to get it that way, especially if you're going to be, you know that you're going to be copying it later on. You want both sides to be nice so that when you copy it, it doesn't kind of go crooked. I don't know if I'm explaining that right, but I hope that makes sense. So I'm going to replicate this one. Where is that thing? It's up there. Very awkward. This is one of the reasons why I don't like using these. Like I said, I love the result of them, but they're just a pain for me. Okay, where is that thing? Up there? Now, if I was smart, I'd probably use like just a punch in a number or something, but I prefer using the arrows on the toolbar. And yeah, it's just slightly off. It's just irritating. Let's try it this way. Still just a little better. So as we're getting into the holiday season, have any of you started your Christmas shopping? Or maybe some of you actually have it done. That would be pretty crazy. Or do you guys have special things that you do with your family? Some kind of tradition? Holiday traditions? I myself, we, my family, my parents, they never really were into the tradition parts as far as, we always did the lighting of the tree on a given day at a given hour kind of thing. In fact, I don't even think my parents put up a tree anymore now that all the kids are out of the house. They don't really see the grandkids and that kind of thing. Partly because I'm overseas and everything. All done except for hubby. Wow, that's being called on the ball. I've got most of mine done, I think. I'm going to be starting with gift wrapping this weekend, and we're going to be putting the tree up. That's probably the only tradition I think we had was right after Thanksgiving is when the tree goes up. Because my mom, a lot of people like to wait till like right before Christmas to put it up. And I know some actually wait to decorate theirs until like Christmas Eve or something. That's one of their traditions. But my mom always felt that it was a waste to have the tree up only for such a short time. So she liked kicking it off right at the beginning of December, right after the Thanksgiving holiday. Sometimes that weekend, and then we had the tree up the whole month, and then she could enjoy it a little bit more. But um, so I kind of do that now. We kind of set it up shortly after Thanksgiving, even though we don't actually celebrate Thanksgiving here. Uh, Around that time of year, that's when I usually start getting it sorted. Because again, since we host the Christmas dinner for my in-laws and stuff, they come here every year. Uh, I like getting a lot of the decorating and stuff out of the way and done so that we can concentrate on the foods and everything. Oh, do you at Easter? No, we don't do the Easter thing. We used to have a tree decoration. Yeah, that's kind of how it went with my folks. They used to put up the tree and do the whole lighting. And I remember when I was really young that when we had like the whole family, grandma, grandpa, uncles, all that together in one house, they would always have someone up on the roof making noises and freaking the kids out, thinking that, you know, there was reindeer and stuff trampling up above, and trying to get the kids to behave. Otherwise, they would be off Santa's list and stuff. And those of us that were older, we were like, wow, they're so gullible. But that was like way, way back. I can get that thing to line up right. Let's see. My thing, though, is for the last, I don't know, I don't think it's been since we've lived here, which is a little over 15 years, but pretty close. I've been trying to like keep it a tradition that we do some goofy games. Whoops. So like last year and like the year before, we did those minute to win it games where, you know, and I always keep it, you know, holiday related. So like you have the ones where you've got the pile of candy canes and you have to use one to kind of fish up the others and stuff, but you can only use your mouth and your hands are behind your back and that kind of stuff. Or we have the thing where you have the ornament on the floor and you use a wrapped gift. It's actually empty, and you use it to fan the ornament across the floor and see who can do that the fastest without, you know, getting it across the line, that kind of thing. And this year we're going to be doing reindeer games. I've got antlers. I don't know if you can see them in the chair back there, but I've got antlers for everybody. My husband is dreading it. I usually make them wear Santa hats and stuff. It used to be just for the person that would hand out the gifts. We always had one person designated as the one that would sit there at the bottom of the tree and pass out the gifts when it was opening time. And for the last few years, I've made everybody wear one. But the one that does the passing out the gifts, they have a different color. But this year, everybody's getting antlers, and it's all going to be reindeer-related stuff. I know I'm kind of strange. Like I said, it's torture for my family. But I don't know. I find it amusing. Oh my gosh. Oh, let's see. I think this might have to be longer. Yeah, I want it to be longer, but we'll leave it like this for now, I guess. But yeah, it's one of the years, you know, one of the time of years that I can kind of get everybody to take a picture as well, because most of us aren't keen on having our picture taken, myself included. I just can't stand it. But the holidays is usually when I can get everybody to take a photo. But this year we're going to take one, a regular one, but I'm also going to make them take one with the antlers on. Because, you know, it's just goofy stuff. Like last year we did photo props, the, you know, where you got like the sticks with like the noses and the glasses and the beards and stuff, and we had everybody posing with those. They actually had a lot of fun with it. They didn't want to admit it at the time, but when the pictures were finished, they were all delighted with the outcomes. Because it was just funny. It's just goofy stuff. It's one time, you know, of year that we can kind of go act really stupid and get away with it. Let's see. Again, I'm looking at my reference just kind of to see where we're going with this. Again, if you're using these pieces, excuse me, I find it helpful to make sure it's square from the beginning. Don't have it like at some weird odd angle and then trying to move it around like this. Trust me, you will regret it. And again, since I'm freehanding it, it's probably not going to be super perfect, but you know, I'm doing my best. Let me get a cough drop. I feel like a major tickle going on. This is going to be one massive sleigh. Do you have any special food dishes that you make on Christmas or during that particular holiday? It's not to assume that everybody celebrates Christmas, of course. I know there's a lot of people that don't. Like we don't normally, you know, some places they always have a turkey for Christmas, or they always have a ham or something. We just kind of mix it and match it. This year we're doing, my husband has a meatloaf recipe. We're doing a couple of those. We have to do two because his parents don't like garlic, or at least they don't like a whole lot. And my husband and myself and my son, we love garlic. So we're making one with lots of garlic and one with like little to none. Because you know, there's always that one person or persons that are super particular about what they will eat or won't eat. A few Dutch ones mixed in. What's the Dutch ones? I'm just being really nosy today. I'm planning to make gingerbread cookies this year. I think I made, I didn't do cookies last year, uh, but the year before, I think we made the sugar ones, the sugar cookies. But this year I'm going to do gingerbread. Yeah, that's kind of how we don't do the, uh, usually it's a dish, whatever dish we pick for the Christmas dinner on a given year. I kind of make sure we don't have that particular dish for a long time. And especially the desserts. We kind of keep the desserts exclusive to the holidays, like the pumpkin cheesecake that I make. We only do that during the Christmas season. I'm not even sure how to spell them. What is it, like a dessert, or is it? Are you talking like a side dish, like a vegetable dish? That's one thing we don't really do a whole lot of is the vegetables. I think I can consistently get them to eat green beans, but past that, it's kind of iffy because smorgasbord. I'm not really entirely sure what that is. I thought smorgasbord was just like a potluck dinner, like a little bit of everything. Is that what that is? Or is that an actual specific dish? I'm totally not clueless, I promise. Let's see, I need this one. I'm trying not to just start talking and forget to build, but that's really hard to do. Wow, that was almost like I lined that up just right, didn't it? That was awesome. Well, potlucks are pretty good. I think that's works best if you have a large number of family members coming to eat. Everybody brings a different dish. We used to kind of do that. Uh, I was probably not even in my teens yet, but and there was always that one aunt or uncle that would bring this questionable dish that nobody touched because they didn't trust that it, wouldn't give them food poisoning or something. Maybe that's not the case for all families, but for mine, that was an actual concern at times. It's sad to say, but that's how it was. Whoops. And we used to have the family divided, where you have the kids' table and the adults' table. The kids, it was just always, I think they really wanted to just line the floor with newspaper to collect everything because the kids were just, they were the worst. Let's see, maybe, oh, that's okay, I guess. Which one do I need? This one? Okay, let's see. Sort of, kinda. One where you cook the potatoes with a little bit of meat mixed into it. Then once it is cooked, you mash it together to let it cool. Once it's cooled, you lay it on an oval plate on a bed of lettuce. Once you've spread it over the lettuce, you layer that with boiled eggs and then just daub each egg with a small... What? That sounds really bizarre. I can't even imagine what that looks like. I'll have to look that up later because that just sounds... So it's meat and the potatoes on lettuce with eggs and mayonnaise. That's... I guess it sounds edible. Oh my gosh, that's a huge link, Cheeky. What the? Let me copy it. Oh yeah, that's kind of what our snack table looks like. My in-laws come over like early in the day, and I usually have just a little uh, mixed bag of snacks and stuff on a table. Yeah, I don't think our table could even hold all of that. It's so small. It's supposed to sit like 6 people or something, but with just the 5 of us, it's really crowded when we start putting dishes out. Hey Aurora, good morning. Well, I'll take your word for it, Poi, that it tastes awesome. What kind of meat is it though? That would probably be the question for me because I'm kind of particular about the meats. Okay, so I need to bring this down. Let's see. Bring one of these over here. And this one here. Where is he? Oh, that's the one that's below. I knew that. Oh, well, I don't know if that would work. Our living room's pretty crowded. I know we've brought in some little side tables at times to kind of catch the overflow, like the condiments and the drinks and stuff. Um, but yeah, I can imagine you needing like a full-on table for all of that because that was a lot of food. Well, I'm glad you were able to make it, Aura. And yes, I'm making a sleigh. This month's challenge is winter rides. So everyone is challenged to make a winter-themed mount, be it a sleigh, a saddled polar bear, such as this one, whatever you feel you can put together. Oh, well, now you're starting to talk like my father-in-law. He's all the time fussing about the cuisine these days. He's like, these kids, they don't know. Uh, he's all the time fussing because I do a lot of like Mexican dishes and Asian dishes and stuff, and he calls that, he says it's too exotic for him. Uh, he prefers the the I wouldn't say the poor man's thing, but again, he grew up when they had the war going on, and he remembers like the boiled cabbage soup and stuff, and that kind of thing. So, thank you, Poi. Yeah, I just copied it and linked it over that way. Okay, let's see. I think I'm going to have to raise this up a bit because I'm starting to hit the floor here. But yeah, I'm glad you think it's a good theme, Aurora. I expect you to enter with that kind of attitude. But just to reiterate, this month's is a special kind of deal. I got in contact with Carbine, and they've arranged to have some special decor packs available to us. So I'm going to be getting a certain number of decor pack codes, and what we're going to do is everyone that enters a project um, will be entered into a drawing for those decor packs. And each decor pack, I think, is like 30 plus pieces. So it's nothing to sniff at. Yeah, we're talking Christmas dinners and Christmas traditions and stuff like that. Like, do you guys have a gift opening tradition? Like, uh, I know some like to do like maybe one gift on Christmas Eve, and then they do all the rest of them Christmas morning. Um, Others, they save it for Christmas evening, you know, the day of, but like keep it for the evening kind of thing. Some spread it throughout the day, that kind of deal. Yeah, boy, that's real subtle there. Oh gosh. Okay, let me see. I had this, whoops. I had that, no, this one here, I think. Yeah. So let me just link all this up so I can move it. Excuse me. I keep getting the hiccups. I think it's me talking. It's, and yesterday was really bad, but I think it was mostly because I didn't realize we had actually gone for almost 4 hours yesterday. Can you believe that? I was like, what? 4 hours? I knew we kind of hit the 2 hour mark, but I didn't realize we had actually gone about four. I was like, whew. No wonder my throat was so dry. Like by the time I was done, I was like trying to breathe. Now I could probably just say link all of the hover part pieces together, but since I'm not using the same piece, it would only catch half of them probably. So I'm just doing it the lazy way and the slow way of linking it individually. It's like a mini game to see if I catch all of them. I'm sure the feeling is mutual, boy. Miss Poi with the no imagination. Huh! I've seen your stuff. You guys are crazy awesome with your builds. But as I said, I know how it is. You're your own worst critic. You don't think you're doing an okay job, and really you're just knocking the socks off of everybody. Let's see. Ah, there we go. See, some of these aren't really lined up right. It's bugging me. Move your ear, Missy. Wow, I'm just going in the wrong direction. Oops. Making it worse. There we go. Yes, Aurora, that is correct. We're not looking for paintings. We're looking for actual, in theory, your character should be able to sit on it or sit in it. I know it's not going to be workable for everybody's, just probably because of how they build it. Like if they build a snowmobile kind of thing, not a snowmobile, say it's a snowplow, like the Snow King, Snowplow King off of Simpsons or something. That comes with a cab. You know, you have the plow in the front, but it's got a cab, and maybe you don't build it exactly so that somebody can actually open a door and get in the vehicle. But as long as it looks like they could, in theory, get in there. It's like this one. It's not actually sittable per se. I can sit on it, but she actually floats above it. But in theory, if I had it where this was actually functional, a functional seat, she could actually sit on it. We want something like that. Well, thanks, Aurora. It's just a quick thing I did. I already talked about the changes I would do. I liked how the harness turned out, but I used different pieces for the belly strap. I think I would have used another. I may craft myself another window to make the belly strap different. Let you admire for a sec. But yeah, basically, as long as the mount is winter themed, anything goes. I didn't want to exclusively say it had to be like a mechanical type thing, like a sleigh, a sled, snowmobile, a plane with skis, uh, a snow tractor, or anything like that. Because I know there are some of us that are less comfortable with that kind of stuff. And again, I want to give a lot of freedom, so I said animals can work too. So if you want to build a rideable penguin, go for it. If you can think of some kind of like a flying ice drake with you know a saddle on it, go for it. It just needs to keep it winter related. So no camels, uh, no uh, no lions. You don't typically expect to see a lion in winter, so uh, but something along, like reindeer, a snow wolf, an ice drake, someone, you could try a polar bear even. I'm sure someone could come up with a better design than I've got. Um, Penguins, a seal maybe, a walrus. What better way to have a nice winter mount than a walrus with those nice big tusks and stuff. Um, and I said you could go beyond just giving them a saddle. You could have some saddle bags or have some flares like we have on our actual in-game mounts, where they have like a little helmet kind of thing, or I don't know, the butt thing that they have. I don't know what you put on it, but something like that. Maybe even kind of build some replicas of the actual flares that we have in game. Maybe go that far into it if you can come up with some stuff that works for it. But yeah, I imagine there's going to be a lot of sleds and sleighs because of the holiday that's coming up. But Frosty Lion, yeah, that would work, I guess. If you're going to do an ice lion, one that's made out of icicles or glacier pieces, or the ice cube kind of decor, um, like Poi's little snowy Pokemon could probably work. The sand shrew that looks like the snow version, that would work. A moose would be good. A moose, definitely. Anything that you could imagine that would be in like the Arctic or winter scene. That's why I say like reindeer would be good. It doesn't have to necessarily have the red nose or anything. Just representative of that would be all right. Again, I'm trying to keep it open as much as possible to give as much variety and not limit folks too much to where they feel like, you know, they're stuck for ideas or something. Okay, so let's see. I need, which one do I need? This one here, I think. Where is that? There it is. And I'm gonna have to raise that up again. But yeah, hoping we get a huge variety of ideas. Just like I expect Marshall and Bucky both to participate. They're such big on vehicles and stuff. It's kind of a vehicle type of challenge, although we'll probably do one specifically for just any vehicle later. But this one is, I want folks to focus on winter styles. Oh, for crying out loud, it's just not. There we go. Gotta fix this too. Which means this is out of whack. Ah, where is it? Up. There we go. Up. That's about as close as it's gonna get. I think that's too much, but we'll just leave it for now. This is looking nothing like my reference, by the way. It's totally not even close. Let's see, where's this supposed to be? I think we'll use this. And one here. And this one. Where is it? This one? What's the ones moving? The other way. There we go. It's not going to be perfect, but I think I'm going to end up having to size this down even more, and so you're probably not going to even notice that it's not really lined up properly. Which is just fine for me. Let's see, where is that thing? See, why I hate working with these is just annoying. Again, I love how the outcome looks, like with so many people using it for their kitchen cabinetry and furniture and stuff, but it's such a pain. I'm sure they're like, I don't do it like that. That's what's the pain. Oh, one maybe? There we go. Okay. Now, the big question is, will this meet up with this smoothly? I kind of doubt it. You already found two ideas. Well, stick with one, get one done. Don't start both at the same time because I know how that can go. Just focus on one, and then if you get that one done, then you're allowed to work on the other. Because you want to get at least one in so that you can get entered into the drawing. That's the big goal, is to get at least one entry up. And one thing in your favor is, you know, it doesn't have to be a specific amount of items. You can go crazy. If you want to spend all 2,500 pieces, you know, whether it be interior or exterior, on this mount, whatever you decide to create, go for it. That would be a crazy feat, but yeah, I expect there will be many that's, you know, in the hundreds at least. Yes, no decor limits. I was just saying that because I knew you were worried about it. I was like, no, there's no limits. There's no restrictions as to what items you can use. Anything goes. Rare items, housing decor, vendor items, reputation, whatever you can get your little grubby hands on, go for it. Anything goes. Because again, I wanted to try and give as much freedom. While I'm limiting the theme to winter style plots, mounts, I still wanted to give you lots of freedom. Oh gosh. Well, I'm glad somebody's excited. I know I am. I'm looking forward to seeing what folks come up with. But I'm just super delighted that Carbine was willing to work with me on this, because I tried to get something lined up for last month, and I unfortunately didn't ask far enough in advance. So I asked then, can you get me set up with something for December? And they're like, yes, I think we can. I was like, yay. And drat, it's not going to come up just right. So I did some finagling here. What piece do I need? This one? Do it this way. I was afraid it wouldn't line up just right, but we will fix that. So that nobody knows. Hopefully. Well, it's sticking out a little bit there, but shh. If you won't tell, I won't tell. Wow, that's just wrong. Come on. $26 or $27, one of those. I see you popping off and on, Poy. Are you already hunting up items that you can use? Boys getting prepped. There we go. A little better. But yeah, anything goes as far as core count. No restrictions there. Just make sure it's winter themed to the best of your ability. I'm trying to think of other creatures. Let me see. Like a fox, or a white fox, or maybe a white bunny rabbit. Somebody wants a white fluffy bunny as a seals. There's some weird looking critters. Foxes, penguins. Someone said a moose earlier. Wolves. Seals. The one I thought of last night was the what's it called? The Saint Bernard? Aren't they the ones that have the little? They always shove them with the little keg underneath. Um, their chin for like they're like the rescue dogs that go around helping those, hunting them up like when an avalanche happens, and they have the little the drink keg thing, rum or bourbon or something. I don't know what they have in there. Maybe maybe a Saint Bernard would be okay. I don't know. I think the other kinds of vehicles will probably see a greater variety of those because sleds and sleighs are pretty common. Snowmobiles will be a fun thing, especially after carbines with their hover sleigh or sled or whatever it's called. Okay, so that's kind of one side, sort of, I think. Not as, it's really just the bottom. I haven't even done like the ski parts that goes underneath. I'm just doing the framework of the where you would sit. So I think what I'm going to do is I want to make this taller, I think. So I'm going to do the unthinkable and unlink all of those. Like, no, don't unlink them. But yes, I must. Okay, so let's raise this up. I think I wanted about here. Something like that. Let's unlink this. Link those two together. Bring that this way. Yeah, I think that'll be better. So I need to join these two up. So see, I wish the controls were like this for all of the pieces, just right there. Don't have to hunt for it every time you turn it. That would be awesome. Okay, let's see. There we go. I think that's a little better. Okay, so now that I have my framework for one side, I want to get all of these into one set. Whoops, wait a minute, this looks a little weird. That looks wonky. Oops, up and over, I think. Probably should have joined that one to it, but I didn't, and now I gotta move it separately. So yeah, again, if you're gonna do something like this along this idea, make sure you get everything lined up just like you want it before you make your set. Wow, that's like totally off, isn't it? Good grief. Let's raise it up first. Make sure everything's lined up like you want before you make it, because once you make it and if you start replicating it, then everything's going to have those flaws. So get it sorted before you go any further. Oh, for crying out loud, this just not wanting to cooperate, is it? Like it's too high. Oh, let's just do it like this. Otherwise, I'm going to be here all day trying to twirl it. I think that's what it is, isn't it? That's like completely borked, isn't it? Ah! Those are all straight, but this one isn't. Why is that off? Because this one's off. How did it get off? There we go. Sort of. Let's try that again. Ah. Okay, so that one's right. Place. Cancel. Place. Where is it? Zero. It's like the numbers go really weird. There, is that better? Better be. Okay. Let's just pretend everything's where it should be and move along. Okay, so I need to pick a parent piece. So I'm going to pick one of these ends. It's either going to be this one or this one. I think this one will be easiest. So I'm just going to try and grab just the stuff that's here. And that should be anything within this radius should be good. Fingers crossed. Looks good. Okay. So before we do anything else, I'm going to make a set for this. and we're gonna give it a new, let's, we'll just call this a sleigh wall. I'm gonna add the link set, and you can see it's already 50 pieces. That's a lot of pieces for just this little wiring work. So yeah, this is gonna be, oh yeah, I gotta change it. Let me note that down. Forgot to update. But it's partly because I don't have the thread up yet. So that usually comes after the first string. So update CBDC. Yeah, it's eligible for the museum. Just this little bit. That's so sad. So yeah, definitely going to be well beyond the museum qualifications there. Oh gosh. Okay, so I'm going to do a reload UI real fast, and that will ensure that the set that I just created should be saved to my computer in the event that I crashed or whatever. It should be okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to be putting in 4 of these, I think, and I'll explain why here shortly. Because I'm wanting to fill this part here with some special decoration. And in order to do that, I need to have a bit of thickness in the wall to be able to hide stuff that maybe I don't want showing. I don't know if it's actually going to work. That's just what I'm thinking of in my head. So, you know, as we know, that doesn't always work out right. Why is that not? I've been having this trouble with this. I don't know if any of you have been having it too, where I'll create something new and it doesn't register that it's there. Let's see. Let me make a new one next to it and see if that helps. See, now it recognizes it. It's so weird. I just started having it the last time I updated, so I don't know if it's something in her coding or what, but anyway, if you have that trouble, just start a new one, a fake one, and then try it then. I had the same problem when we were working with the chibis. The chibi directory didn't want to open. Okay, so we got our 50 pieces, right? I'm just going to double check and make sure. That's what I'm afraid of. My decor owned is getting bizarro, so let me get rid of some of these. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. Well, it looks like I have room for at least the one part, so let's see if we can get away with it. I'll have to clear out my... That's another reason why I want unlimited storage for my strange projects. Okay, where's the thingy? Now, normally you would just do with the 2 sides and then join them up with walls or curved walls or whatever you're going to use to join them up. But the idea I have is I want to thicken the wall. So I'm going to be doing double my double, if that makes sense. So it's going to be like this. That way I have a pocket of space between each side, and then I'll be able to fill it with whatever I'm wanting for decoration here. That means I'll have to join these 2 up, and then once I have this all built, then I'll replicate that, and that'll be the other side of the slide. Does that make sense? It's like a sandwich within a sandwich kind of thing. I hope I can explain it a little better tomorrow, but I think we're going to have to call it today. But you can see the progress. It's getting there, sort of. I mean, it has some nice little curvy shape. You can see it's kind of like where the seat would be, kind of thing. But again, I'm wanting to do, rather than just have a plain wall here, um, you know, like having, like, say, for example, if I want to fill it up with Oran walls, see if I can get this quickly, just to give an example. Like, this would be fine if you don't want to get too fancy with it. Just insert, because the hover part pieces are pretty thick on their own, so you can get that in where you're just showing what you want to show right there, and that would work perfectly fine. And then you would only need the two sections. So this one here, fill up a bit, and so on and so forth. But I want to get mine a little fancier looking with, I'm wanting to make it look like it's colored slash painted carved wood, sort of. So I'm wanting some, I don't know what I'm going to decorate it with, but like different kinds of engravings or something on the side, some kind of symbols or images or whatever. You know, maybe you want to carve your name on the side of it, uh, or whatever. But in order to do that, if I leave just the walls, whatever I stick on these will be sticking out. It's not like I can easily hide something in that thin space. So I want to build a pocket to be able to hide the pieces that I don't want showing. So like, say I just want, this is so cruddy, like really bad example, but I'm trying to explain for those that might not understand what I'm talking about. So like, say I want to build some letters, for example, using something that happens to stick out quite a bit in the back. Or like maybe I want to make a picture of, I don't know, a Santa face or something. And I need, like, for the eyes, you know, I like to use the vent tanks for a lot of the facial features. I guess I need to size that down a bit. No matter how small I make this, if I can get this lined up right. So bad explaining. No matter how small I make the tank, it's always going to stick out the back. But if I add in this cushion, however deep I need to make it, I could get away with hiding at least most of it. So if I make it 20, then at least it's not sticking out on the other side. Does that make sense? I hope that's a clearer idea of what I'm talking about. Yeah, exactly. Because without that pillow of space, then you're restricted a lot more onto what you could use as decoration here. You'd have to stick with like 2x4s and things that could lay flat on your wall surface here. But I want to have the luxury of being able to hide, you know, maybe pillows or whatever else that might be sticking out, and in that pocket of space without it poking through the other side. So eventually, you know, you would like cover this top here. You'd like layer it with smaller pieces of material to hide the pocket. And then nobody will be the wiser that it's in there. You know, you would have that all the way around. But It's more expensive that way, obviously. I mean, if just, excuse me. Whew. If just the one frame is 50 and I have to replicate it 2 more times, that's what, 200 pieces right there. And we haven't even gotten into the seating or anything else I might decide to add. It's going to be pricey. Whew. Getting choked up here. So yeah, that's my cue. Time to go, folks. So I hope you're excited about the challenge. Again, I'll be posting full details on that very shortly. And look forward to seeing what you guys decide to come up with. But definitely worth it, I think, at least getting a chance. Pardon me, of getting one of those decor packs. Gonna like chug down some tea later. But yeah, thanks guys for joining. Again, appreciate the tweets, the retweets, the follows, and the hosting, of course. We've been getting a lot of extra hosting lately, and I certainly appreciate that. I know housing is not for everybody. Some may find it actually pretty boring. I know some actually find it stressful. But it's a great hobby for me, and I'm always happy to encourage others to pick it up. Even if they can't spend days and days at it like I do, it's a nice distraction from other things. You know, something that you can do in between raids if you're waiting for your raid team to gather up, come in, build a few bits, and then move on to something else. It's one of those not a sprint, it's a marathon type of thing, so it's a long-term investment as far as time and money and, you know, collecting all of the pieces and everything. But hopefully as more and more get into it, they will discover that it's a really fun way to kind of spend some time in game. It's the way I do it is not necessarily very sociable other than on the stream, but for those that are in the RP community, I think they have found the housing is well beyond worth it as far as helping with the immersion of their activities RP-wise. So a little bit of something for everyone, I think, and we're just doing our part in trying to get folks more involved with it. So again, I encourage you to participate in the challenge. If you know of anyone that you think would really like to join in, please do pass along the information. Because the more the merrier. It's always great to have lots of places to go and visit to see all of these different projects. And just join us throughout the month. We'll be brainstorming additional ideas. If you have an idea in your head and you're not quite sure how to pull it off and you want some suggestions or tips or tricks, feel free to ask. I'm not hesitant, and like I said, it's not really a competition, so it's not like I'm having to keep it secret so that, you know, someone else can't use the idea. I'm more than happy to help brainstorm suggestions on pieces you could use. Things like that. If you're like trying to figure out what item to use as antlers or something for your reindeer mount, then, you know, we will look into trying to get you some information on that. But yeah, you can contact us on the stream live, or if that's not very convenient, I'm always available in game. You know, maybe I'm not there 24/7, but I'm happy to answer any in-game mails. You can also reach me on Twitter or via the forums. My name's pretty much the same all throughout, so it's pretty easy to recognize me in-game or otherwise. Thanks again, and hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.